Dickie shorts, valley belt, boxer briefs. Bitch, of course this marathon is where you ought to be. Shopping sprees, spending thousands on designer jeans. Exotic women, Mercedes Benzes with bucket seats. Pretty feet, pretty hair that blow in the breeze. It's pretty rare that she meet a nigga as real as me, especially when she fishing in this music industry. But luckily she fucked around and fucked with me. Surround myself with the finer things. I guess I'm Hollywood cause I'm enjoying what my grinding bring. I'm all money in, I sin, minus the major record label. Time to rouse the feet. On every stage I'm giving everything inside of me, but she gon' give it back after the show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 8 of I Am CEO podcast. It's your boy Chef Kev, aka Kev Winston, aka Kev, whatever you want to call me. I'm a coach and I'm also a chef. But either way, we gonna cook today because I have a special guest in the building. I don't want to go into a long list of what he does. I would just rather him tell you what he does and who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kendall Taylor.
Salute. Appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good to be here.
Man, how you been, man? How's everything?
I've been busy, been productive, but I've been blessed nonetheless, man. I'm in a beautiful place in my life.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. Tell the people who you are, what you do, what's your business, and tell them IMC. Why are you CEO? Like, what brings you here?
Well, currently, I am the CEO and founder, one of the co-founders of Salute First Academy of Men. Okay. It is our organization where we go into disadvantaged areas. We go into marginalized areas from the school system, prison system, CBOs to deliver our character development and leadership training program. I knew that would get me a foot in the door, but my overall vision is to create a pipeline that competes with the prison pipeline. Okay. And so when you look at the Perusian model of the school system and the dynamics of that, you see that mindset and institutionalization takes place at a very early age. Yeah. So I'm not against reform. I'm with reform, but I'm also at the same time, I don't want to focus so much on recidivism once they've already hit rock bottom. I'm saying, how can we deter that and get them on the path way before that even becomes an option? And we're having incredible success in that regard in some of the most toughest places.
Man, listen, you already jumped into it for me. So what inspired you to start your NGO? Like, what inspired you to get into that space?
A promise I made to God when I was in jail. I was facing what I thought was just a done deal charge. Yeah. And I got released on a technicality in the crime lab. And so that allowed me to take a lesser charge and add another 6 years to probation, where I've done like a total of 17 years probation. Wow. But I got out. I took an entry-level job at a company working in logistics, turned it into a multi-million-dollar company, having all this success. And I'm sitting at my desk one day and I realized I'm still failing. No deal was giving me fulfillment. No moment such as this was giving me fulfillment. I realized it's not enough that I made it out. I got to be able to show other brothers how to do the same thing. That's it. I don't want to be the only one at the bar buying the drinks or got the house on the cul-de-sac. And I started to get fulfillment in that, and that's what pointed me in that direction.
So within that space, like tell us a little bit about like the mission and the goals. Okay, within that company.
The mission and the goal is twofold. So we are on the recidivism end, helping brothers that are incarcerated, previously incarcerated, do what we call reconstruct criminogenic behavior. Okay. By that I mean, I was facing a trafficking charge, right? I went to work at a logistics company, sweeping floors, taking out trash, and ended up acquiring 49%, taking that to a multi-million-dollar business. Why? Because moving packages is moving packages.
Same thing.
It's the same thing, right? So if we can look at some of the things we have in the hood and have in our disadvantaged communities, you will find some of your most sophisticated minds, business people. They just don't have the vehicles, they don't have the structure, and they don't have somebody willing to help them unpack beyond the trauma and the fears to see the dynamics of what they possess. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so that is the angle that we take. But then with the school systems, we're saying this. I like to use an analogy if I got some time, right? So we look at everything we do like football. We use a lot of sports analogies because it resonates with men. So the quarterback is the investor.
Yeah.
The ball is the investment. The wide receiver is the ROI. Do you throw the ball where he's at? or where he's gonna be.
You got to throw where he's going. That's the part of running that route.
You throw it where he's gonna be.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with certain things that have been offered to the youth, they're throwing the ball where they're at. We're throwing the ball where they're gonna be. So we're pushing them towards tech.
By the time they get there, it's already gone.
It's already gone.
He's already up out of there.
So why would I push a young person into something that's going to be obsolete or outdated? We want to push them to truly sustainable pathways at a very early age. So we're throwing the ball where the wide receiver is going to be.
Listen. So what is your definition? You know, when that receiver's getting involved, what's your definition of a 21st century man?
That's an important question. I don't even think you may understand how loaded that is, and we got to be careful because now there's such a propensity to take offense when you stand for something of tradition or value. So the 21st century man is going to have to be, number one, nimble. We can't just pull up the way we used to pull up. On this podcast, I can't just say what I want to say. Right. So first of all, the 21st century man is going to have to be very tactful and more strategic. However, we need to get back to our principles because the 21st century man has become weak. We tap out, we quit, we complain, we acquiesce to the women to do this, that, to the third. We want to take the cheat code. We forgot how to suffer. We forgot how to endure. We forgot what sacrifice looks like. We forgot what deferred gratification looks like. I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And I know if I keep doing it, I compound my efforts at some point. Now, we want everything right now. That's a childlike mentality. So the 21st century man is going to have to first remember what it is, costs and requires to be a man. We were built to suffer, to endure, to labor for something greater than us and somebody other than ourselves. And that's what Salute First is about. When we're in our meetings, we ain't talking about Dr. Kendall Taylor. We're talking about the community. We're talking about single mothers, grandmothers raising kids. We're talking about systems. It got nothing to do with me. I'm leading the charge. Right. But we're not sitting in that meeting talking about me. Right. It got nothing to do with me.
It's about the mission.
And that's fulfilling to me.
Wow.
Because I'd rather play the shadows anyway. Snipers win wars.
Yeah.
Snipers win wars. I'd rather be in the shadow. Let y'all talk about my wire. Let y'all talk about something that's entertaining the whole nine. And I'm gonna dig a hole right up under you. That's what gives me pleasure.
Wow. That's major right there, man. Listen, I want to know what's the qualities that I wrote this down because this was important to me. What do you think are the important qualities that embody of men in today's world? Because this was a question I had for myself. That's a question I have for just other men who I look up to, or just people that's in my circle that I know. Like, what embodies that? Like, what does that look like?
First of all, honor. I think honor is important. Honor is how you'll carry yourself regardless of what is popular or social opinion. I think integrity. Too often men do the right thing when they're being watched. I'm talking about doing the right thing when nobody's ever going to know it. You know what I mean? Doing the right thing if you're never going to get recognition. Not doing something you could get away with. You see what I'm saying? We become addicted to pleasure instead of purpose. So for me, it's having the qualities of a man. Man, also needs to be consistency. We got a lot of ideas as men. We got a lot of potential. We got a lot of creative, but following through on that, what you said you was going to do, honoring your word. You know how many times a meeting comes up, a call comes up, something I committed to, and I'm like, damn, man, I wish I never would have committed. But I'm going to keep my word. If I told you 6 months ago I'm going to do it, 6 months later I'm going to do that because I gave you my word. There's no backpedaling and moonwalking in manhood. And we see too much of that. We got too many men running routes.
Right.
When they should be on the defensive line.
Everybody's just looking to get open.
They looking to get over. And if I'm not going to get recognized, if I'm not going to get highlighted, I'm not going to do it. What about doing it because it needs to be done? What's this thing I say? I say, I'm not trying to do nothing to be seen. I'm trying to do something worthy of being recognized.
Something that's more impactful.
Something that's more impactful, man. That means something. Yeah. You know there was a time when you had to do something of value before you got a platform? Mm-hmm. You remember back in the days when people had albums right now and all you got from them was the little booklet inside the cover.
Oh, yeah.
And you was happy to get that cover, whether it was Michael Jackson or Method Man or Wu-Tang. You were just glad to just see. Now, man, in order to have a platform, you just need a username and a login. And now you have a voice that you have not earned, that has not been validated or qualified.
Wow.
And so one of the biggest things I try to do is stay away from all the noise. I pray to God every single day, show me how to grow my business with the least amount of social media. See, I'll post this.
Right.
But have y'all ever seen me post a selfie?
No.
Have y'all ever seen me go live?
Never.
For what? For what? It's so much noise out there, man. I want to do something that stands out in the midst of that. So I think a lot of men just need to really truly say less. Go do something. Go build something. Get outside of this social minutia, and do something of significance, man. And you'll sleep better at night. You'll sleep better with yourself at night.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but this is why I wanted to bring him on, because not only is he talking to so many of us as men, I needed to hear this because of what I seen in my past, what I seen a man is supposed to be like. I came from a side of where man was the total opposite of where you were. He was on the receiving end, and he took his family through a hard time, and then my mom had to pay for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So me seeing that is what made me become a CEO, because I never wanted to always be looking for nothing. I wanted to go get my own. That's what I learned.
Let me play with that, because it's gonna be a great. Are we taking a shot? What we doing? This looks really good.
Let's take a quick shot of this special gold label blends. It's a extreme rare whiskey. You can't find it in any store, but I just want to say thank you to Blends for the good one. But I want to toast to this conversation.
Say less.
Yes, sir. Toast to manhood too. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Full body.
she meant that. She meant that. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I want to address something. One of the things that's given me great liberation, man, is being comfortable in my weaknesses and my insecurities.
Yeah.
A great deal of your listeners, man, were raised by single mothers, such as myself.
Yeah.
I saw how my mother handled the bills. I saw how my mother handled pressure when the car got repossessed, or we had to hustle at the flea market on the weekends, or when we come home one day and the whole bathroom toilet don't fail through the floor from rotten wood. And I never saw how a man dealt with it.
Wow.
How did a man handle the budget and the finances? I say that to say this. I adopted a lot of feminine traits and a lot of feminine energy that, as I became older, made me a very sensitive, too many outbursts. I liken it to this. Some of us as men who were raised by single mothers is like putting regular gas on a foreign car. It'll start up, but it ain't gonna get you where you're trying to go.
And that's crazy, because I was raised by both parents, but mentally one was checked out, not able. He showed me how to do what men do, but he didn't show me how to be what a real man was. He just showed me the things like fixing the car,
The logistics of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that word. Doing logistics of manhood.
Yeah.
Cutting grass, taking out trash. But then that other side, the anger.
What about
outburst,
What about the emotions?
emotion?
So we wonder why so many men have low emotional IQs is because we getting it from women. I was at the gym one day, right? We all like to work out. I'm at the gym one day. What do you notice if you go to the gym first thing in the morning? You see all these talk shows.
Everything that's up there is a talk show. Yeah.
And it's all women controlling the narrative. I keep saying every year, when's it going to be a group of sophisticated, well-dressed, well-looking, educated guys adding value to the politics, to the war in Israel, to da-da-da-da-da-da? Where's our voice? So I have so much compassion for those we serve, because these young boys don't know where to get their blueprint from. So it's easy to go for LeBron.
Yeah.
It's easy to go for, the Michael Jordans. It's easy to go for the Michael B. Jordans and gravitate to something that you see, but that's not reality.
No, because you can't. Those are not reachable.
Those are not.
goals.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
are things that I'm not going to say not attainable, but they're very hard to get.
Yeah.
It's a very small percentage that gets that opportunity.
Right. But there's a large percentage of brothers who frustrated,
Yes.
who are emotionally insecure, who don't know how to voice what they feel, who don't know how to take the path to success.
See, for me, I voiced too much of what I feel and didn't know how to control the mental capacity of that. And so then it becomes, like you were saying, it's sensitive. It's offense is and it turns into anger.
So what do you have when you have a nation full of youth and disconnected youth who have no emotional IQ, cannot express themselves.
You gotta.
You get the violence, you get the gunplay, you get what it is it's a lot of hurting people.
Woo,
That's what we're working on this salute.
I'm gonna just throw these cards away because at this point,
Play with them. I got as much time as you got, man. I'm slow sipping.
Listen, man. There's another one that was extremely important to me because leadership was huge, but I love the emotional IQ piece. Talk to us about the personal story of where it started for you and how you navigated that situation.
Leadership is serving. We forget that. There's a book, I ordered it, I haven't read it, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's called Bosses Eat First, Leaders Eat Last. I ordered it because I use that terminology a lot. Leadership is about serving. We forget that.
Yeah.
We think that once we get to a certain status, stature, affluence, that people are supposed to bend to us when you know stronger than your team. Let's go to your family. You know stronger than your family. Yeah. My house gonna shut down if my wife check out, regardless if I'm the head. Yeah. Regardless if I'm king in the house, I'm no stronger than my team. So when it comes to leadership, first step is learning. It's about serving, and that's where I developed my acumen. When I got out of jail, man, I got a job paying $7.25 serving people in that company. But as I served, I learned, I watched, I saw what was working well, what wasn't working well, and boom, I realized people gave me more information, gave me more game when I was serving. But the moment I got in leadership, now I'm competition. See? So I realized as a leader, if I keep a servant mentality, the politicians, the corporate alliances, the community leaders, they still rock with me. But the moment I want to put on the top hat like I'm the end all be all, you on your own. And I need the support of these communities. I need the support of the superintendents. I need the support of the wardens and the director of prisons. As long as I stay postured as a student, we could continue to collab together. But the moment I feel like I know it all, now we competition.
So I just want to pause there for 2 seconds. He just wouldn't glaze over the fact. This was about 5 minutes ago that he is a doctor. He didn't go into that. No. This is Dr. Kendall Taylor. So what he is explaining to us is not just based off of this is something I read. It's something you actually went through. And what you just told me, explain what you said earlier about suffering. Men don't want to suffer no more.
Let me address that. I don't address comments on my social page because I will give you what you want. You want to come into my atmosphere. Listen, I got an honorary doctorate. So you see comments from time to time as if I haven't earned it or as if I haven't gone through the chambers of requirement. But I will say this. First of all, I got 3 honoraries in 1 year. I just took the first one who recognized it in me. Second of all, no, I didn't go through the studies of calculus and trigonometry and whatever you had to go through to get yours, but no more than you went through what I had to go through to get mine. I know what I'm doing with mine. I know the doors that it's opening and the impact that I'm making and the reverberation of the system and the output and the pathways that we're creating. So that's why I don't mention it, because I don't hang my hat on it. But however you want to look at it, it's been earned. And I uphold it with the highest level of integrity, as I hope you uphold yours as well.
I love that because it is all about people focus on the title, but what is your office?
What's your office? What's your office? You do your surgery, or you go teach your class, and then you go home and you tap out. Okay, cool. Or you're a phenomenal instructor or professor. Yep. Cool. But we touching the whole country. Matter of fact, we going into places you can't reach. We going into places you can't reach because the people that I serve, they're not coming to your church. They're not coming to your school. They're not coming to your class or to your seminars. We're going to where they're at and they're meeting where they're at. And so I'm grateful that several institutions looked upon the work I was doing and wanted to endow me with that. But no, I don't lead with that. I don't come up here again. I'm serving. So I appreciate it, but I don't, yeah.
No, I just wanted to give, we say this word, giving flowers. I wanted to make sure my brother got his steak. We ain't giving flowers in the manhood. We don't give steak.
Me no.
In that same vein, let's go ahead and take a bite of this. So this is a steak.
I've been waiting. I got my napkin right here. What y'all talking about?
Let me know what you think is.
Man,
one of my
listen.
steak sandwiches. So
You ain't gotta say no, bro.
Cheese, you look at that.
We hired chef many times to cook for us. Like he ain't even got it. This breakdown for y'all. This bite for me. What you talking about?
So why you take that bite? I wanna ask, like,
come on, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend
on the ciabatta? I'm so proud.
With the ciabatta bread. A lot of people don't know about that.
This ain't for sure. This will get ate or be in the truck with me. We're not playing.
That's all. What do you recommend with navigating difficult emotions such as stress, anxiety, sadness in a healthy way? What do you recommend? How to navigate those difficult emotional. Even my cameraman loved it. They listen.
Yeah, yeah. But stop trying to do it alone.
Stop trying to do it alone, man.
Stop trying to do it alone. That's a weakness. We've been taught as men it's a strength to suppress, to act like it doesn't. That's a weakness. It's killing us, and it's evident. Wow. Get with another brother, because 9 times out of 10, when you show transparency, he's going to be like, yo, dog, I was dealing with that too. Create a safe space where you and somebody else can go through that process, because you can't navigate it together. I mean, alone. You didn't get in it alone. Right. You didn't get in trauma alone. You didn't get in confusion alone. How you think you're going to get out alone? Emotions are not something you can get out the mud. It's something that you gotta get out of conversation with people that you can trust and have accountability with. I think that's the very first and the most important step, is stop trying to do it alone. I did that, trying to read the books, psychoanalyze myself, read the book, take classes on psychiatry, and it didn't help me until I got with other brothers who could share their experiences and I could share mine.
And it's crazy because you saying this, and I asked that question because these are one of the things I struggle with. People look at what I do and they're like, oh man, he's just that. But I'm so transparent with my social media because I don't want people to always just see when I'm winning. I want to see when I'm struggling. One of my biggest struggles is I don't have a tribe. I go to my wife to be my tribe, and she can't be everything because there's so many brothers who I didn't realize wasn't really keeping those traits and keeping those same promises like you were saying, because there's so many guys who say it, they don't really do it.
A wise man told me one time, he said, KT, the higher you get, the more successful you become, the more support and wise counsel you're going to need. We think it's the other way around. It gets heavy when you got big payroll. It gets heavy when you're carrying the load. It gets heavy when you're trying to dream on your own. We got to reverse that. The higher you become, the bigger you become, the more, bandwidth you have in you need more support and wise counsel.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I assumed you had it.
Yeah.
The way you moving, the way your stuff set up. I mean, we on the 50th floor of the View, right? It's easy for me to assume you got everything you need, but I'm telling you right now, as a accountability on camera, but you ain't got to walk alone. You can hit me beyond the fact of when we desire to use your gift. Right. I never want to skip past the man and get straight to the gift. We do that a lot. Yeah. And so I made that assumption, and I apologize. No. And so if you ever need to tap in, I tap in. Yeah, it's no excuse.
And it's crazy because sometimes us as men, I felt like I had to present myself at that level in order to receive that level of access, because I understand how important that is. You probably get fooled so many different ways, but that's the struggle in my position. I'm in every circle, in every home, in every major whatever, but I go home and I'm in that space of loneliness mentally.
Who you plug into? Like, y'all know what a power strip is, right? Men like Kevin and myself, we're the power strip, but that power strip still got to plug in. Come on, man. So that's a great analogy. I never used that before. I love that. It's got multiple different jacks where your mother, your wife, you got to have somewhere to plug into, or eventually you're going to have nothing to give them, man. And what'll happen is what we talked about off of camera, me and you will hit that switch. Yeah. And we'll cut everything off. Yep. But if we cut ourselves off, we hurt those who plugged into us. So what we need is we need a wall. And for me, it's God.
Yes.
For me, it's God.
I'm glad you said that.
I stopped getting in front of the Most High, man, doing these things, moving and shaking, and then saying, God bless it. No, Father, is this what you want me to do? Is this who you want me to? Because I got so much stuff jacked into me. And then we can connect with other power strips. But at the end of the day, we should all be connected into something that ain't gonna never run out of power. And that's the Most High. That's the Most High. He's the wall. He's the master outlet. And as long as I'm connected to him, I got what my wife needs. As long as I'm connected to him, I got what my daughter needs. It's about 6. As long as I'm connected to him, I got what Rock Soul needs, what Salute needs, and the miscellaneous from those who. But if I plug out of him,
that's it.
Everything go down. And that's one of 2 things that happen. Either staying connected to him or we selfishly hit that switch. I don't want to hit that switch no more. So I just need to stay connected, and then I won't have burnout. I won't get overwhelmed because I'll make my decisions less from a selfish place and more from a righteous place. And that's the missing piece that we have, man. It's how you can have success and your spirituality and how they can coexist.
And I pray, I go to God, but I do not consult him all the time.
I don't either. I'm working on it. Mm-hmm.
He planned this.
You know why? Because we don't want him to say no.
Man,
we don't want him to say no. We don't want him to say no. You know, but there's so many times we be like, Father, get me out of this, or make this work, or make sure I didn't tell you to do it in the first place. I didn't tell you to do it in the first place. So that's good, man.
I wanted to talk about that because I read something last night. I was on a video that said, monitor your heart. It says, these are the 4 things that help you monitor your heart: guilt, anger, greed, and jealousy. These are the 4 things that you recognize as it pertains to monitoring your heart. And it says, guilt tells you I owe you. Anger says you owe me. Greed says I owe me. Jealousy says God owes me. What do you think about that?
Like, I don't know who that was that you listened to. It's thought provoking. I'm looking at 4 negative virtues.
That's exactly what they are.
You know, they're 4 negative virtues, and that's kind of sad that as a people, like Black, Indian, Asian, that we're in a place where love, peace, charity, kindness, brotherly love, those things should be at the boom. I think those are the only things that can wash that and offset it. Because greed gonna beget greed, jealousy gonna beget envy, anger gonna beget frustration and violence. The only way you can offset it is by a true substitute, and that's love. That's kindness. That's patience.
It's crazy. He did not watch this. We did not pre-production. The answer to those 4: guilt goes with confession, anger goes with forgiveness, greed you give, jealousy you celebrate.
That's it, man. That's it. So when you think about it, when you look at the condition of, we're Black men, when you look at the condition of Black men, that's why I have days when I'm inspired and I feel like we could take over the world of Salute, and some days I feel like because the things that are truly necessary to offset our condition, our music doesn't perpetuate that, propaganda doesn't present that, social engineering doesn't always make room for that. But that's what it's going to boil down to, is learning how to love my brother, celebrate another person's success, forgive those who have wronged me, and forgive myself. Those are the antidotes. Those are the antidotes.
You make that mistake and you can't even forgive yourself.
Gotta forgive yourself.
Because that is the pressure you put on others when you're trying to, you going hard on yourself because of what you did.
You won't offer somebody else forgiveness for what they did to you because you can't forgive yourself. Sometimes it's not even about that wrong that they did.
Yeah.
It's being able to forgive yourself opens up the doors, man, for you to live a wholesome life, man. And it's a tough thing to do, but when we go back to the definition of manhood, if all the men are carrying grudges, and all the men are carrying unforgiveness, and all the men are unwilling to celebrate over men, where do we go? Where's the leaders come from? And that's why you're starting to see the whole society with women saying, forget it, we'll take that seat. And while they're having sex, I got to be careful. I'm going to back out of that one. I'm going to back out of there. I'm going to back out of that.
I want to open that up so bad.
I'm going to back out of there.
I mean, there's a political analogy that we already see on a man and then a woman, but we're going to just, leave that alone.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I give an example. Like one of the parties keeps reaching out for my wife to perform, right? Keeps reaching out. And I'm like, no. Because no matter which one you stand on, you're going to offend the other. The bag ain't worth it. If I stand on the blue or the red, it doesn't matter. There's fans on both sides. It's not worth it. And that's that's the route I'm gonna take. Right. Again, we said in the beginning, men gonna have to be very strategic. I have an opinion, but my opinion is not worth it right now. That's my opinion.
Man, you help. There's so many people right now because the opinion and you know what? I had this conversation with my wife a lot. She said, "What is
you playing?"
She said, "What is the high you get when you get off of that anger high? What is the release?" And there's so many men that get this release and high from saying they peace, or saying they whatever that is. And what is it worth?
But it's crack. Not heroin. I'm being specific.
No.
Not marijuana.
I know.
Because it's a temporary high. And the come down is immediate. That's why crack does so well. It's because the high is so euphoric, but it only lasts a blink of an eye. And so they come back. And that's what anger does. In that moment, I've been there. We were just talking earlier today about getting out the doghouse, right? I don't mind. My wife had me in the doghouse.
Yep. I'm in there right now.
She had me in the doghouse. I'm out of there though. I'm out. I got bond.
Don't put don't get no don't put no decor up.
I'm good. No. But it's because you have that momentary high of expressing what I said what I need to say.
Yeah.
But did it move your mission? Because here's what took me. This is good, and we could bow out. I tell the people that we train, when you're upset and you're emotional, think about what you want the outcome to be. That's what your response should be. What typically happens is we feel something, we want this, we want that, and our reaction does the very opposite of what we want the outcome to be. So we spend more time doing damage control.
We react instead of responding.
If I want my wife to do this, my response should be pointing in that direction. My reaction is going to send her that way. That's what anger does, man. It pushes your plans in the opposite direction of what you truly desire. And that's why we have to get it under control, because we ourselves are self-destructive, and we push our desires, our legacy, our victories further and further because of a low EQ.
Listen, there's so much more we can open up into this.
It was a good cook-up.
It
was a good cook-up. It was a good cook-up.
I want you to just give advice to that young person out here who, this might get shared to that husband, that son, whoever that is, that uncle that can share this with that young man. What would you give an aspiring young man advice on leadership and real manhood? I know we talked about it, but if you wanted to talk to that young dude.
Excuse me. The foundation is you are enough. Okay. It sounds so simple, but less is more. Our constant need of validation as men is killing us. But when you can wake up and just know that you're enough, I am enough. I am enough the way I am and where I am. That's what opens the door for you to get to the next step. But when we keep seeking validation and we base our self-worth on what we produce and what people's response is to it, you become a slave to their opinion. You cannot lead and be a slave at the same time. So it begins with understanding you're already validated because God through Christ loves you. You are already validated. Everything else is just bread and butter. That's the beginning. If I had one last chance to say anything to anybody, I would say, brother, you are enough. And start from there. Don't start with a deficit. Start from knowing that you are enough.
So you already have what you need. You just got to work from that.
You got everything that you need without somebody else's opinion, somebody else confirming you or validating you. You are enough where you at. Measure yourself by the love God has for you. Measure yourself by the love God has for you, because that ain't going to move. That ain't going to change. That don't come with a prerequisite or a checklist. Then you can go out there and face the world who judges you based on what you can produce.
Listen, man, I don't even have nothing else I can say after that. Man. I'm going to say I appreciate your time, appreciate your sacrifice, because for us, time is sacrifice. But I just appreciate you showing up, and
it's all right.
Not only just showing up and just saying you checking the box. You gave nuggets, you gave meat and potatoes, you gave so much substance that I believe somebody's going to hear this and they're going to be impacted.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory, bro. That's it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, black man. Already.
All right, y'all. That was episode 8 of I Am CEO podcast. Let people know that, you want to tell people to follow you. It's up to you,
salutefirst.com, www.salutefirst, like first place, the number one, ST. You can check out what we do. If you come to my page, I'm not here to entertain you. I want you to know what our mission is about. Would love your support and for you to follow our efforts. And that's it, man. We will make change wherever I'm going to bow out. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Let's see y'all later.
Salute.